guys, good morning and welcome to Flory Models Daily Show. Here we are on Friday the 30th of September 2016 and a big announcement. Now, we've been talking about MRP paints for quite some time and I'm happy to announce actually one of our members, Merrick, a lot of you know him. He has set up a brand new company importing MRP paints into the UK. So this is Merrick's site down here. So it is hmhobbies.co.uk. He's got a great website. He's got all the actual paints you can do and basically everything that MRP do, as well as a few other things. He also does a lot of the sort of guns range of obviously thinners, putties, obviously, you know, you name it, he does it. We'll have a look in a moment. But anyway, the big thing is I placed an order, which I have paid for. This isn't an advert or anything else like that. It's just because obviously Merrick's a member and myself and Steve and everybody else wanted to do this. I actually placed this as an order yesterday around about 10 o'clock. And here we are, next day service. It has turned up. I don't think it's anything special, just because it's me. Obviously it knows it's me because it was sent to Flory Models. But generally, here we have, I have done, I'll read that in a moment because obviously it's Merrick's thing. We have got in here some various items. So down in here, this is the new MRP scribers, which he has sent me. I didn't buy them, I must admit, but we can give those a whirl. So we're doing a test on those very, very soon. But down in here, I have very nicely packaged. I have gone completely to town and bought literally tons of the paint. I am that impressed with it. You know, it's no lie. This stuff sprays beautifully. If you want to see how good this stuff is, this is free to watch. This is the video of me spraying the flanker in real time, no edits, cuts or anything, as we did it on a live build a few Mondays ago, and it worked absolutely beautifully. So these paints, as I said, they're very easy to use, they're very forgiving, they're very thin. You need to change your style a little bit about it, but say, have a watch of that and you'll see. But I have gone out and bought pretty much all the colours I'm ever going to need. You know, and this has been always a thing with them. Not saying that the Slovak website isn't any good, it's just very difficult to navigate it and obviously waiting for it to be delivered and all the rest of it. So I have got literally tons and tons. And if you want to know how much I spent, put it this way, we didn't get any change out of 250 quid on this. This is how much of actually this stuff I bought. So there we go. We have tons of it down in here, just like this. And it still keeps coming. Is that it? That's everything. So yes, as you can see, I might show you around here. 3 bottles in every pouch. Okay, and we have gone completely over the top with it. Okay, so what does that mean? It means, one, I've got to redo my paint rack and go completely through it and everything else. Secondly, the Flory effect can go in now and you can start buying all the paints from Merrick. So as you can see down here, their website's pretty nice and easy, straightforward to follow and things like that. So basically, you've got new products and that, it's all new. This site only went live literally a few days ago. So you've got the paint sets and then obviously the different types and all the rest of it. So if you go on aircraft like I did, you've got a thing down the side, you can go, I don't know, let's do RAF. Seeing as it's a British site, you've got all the RAF colours literally down here. The $4.99 a bottle. Really nice stuff, as I said before. You can do them down there like that, and then obviously you want to unclick and say you want to go for German colours. There's 25 German colours in the range, and you can do them all like this right the way through. Israeli is a box set, so you can have that as a box set and everything else. The actual primers, to be honest, Merrick obviously likes, like I do, the AK primer set. I absolutely love those things. I think they're fantastic. But also down here, as I have got them as well, you've also got the things like the Mr. Hobby primers as well. They're down on there on the site and all things like that. And their own primers, as you know, because I was sent them as well. They do their own series of primers right the way through. So you've got an entire thing about primers. Weathering obviously does the AK sets, so you can do all the AK sets and everything else down in there if you want to. Tools, so same thing, he's got, to be honest, quite a few bits that I use. So we've obviously got things like the bending tools, they're exactly the same ones that I use. The scribing sets, obviously we're going to look at those, see exactly how good they are. Individuals, masking tapes, Mr. Masking Tape as well, which is the Kubui tape, exactly the same as that, so that's very nice. But it goes on, you've got very thin plastic putty, perfect plastic putty. The glues, micros, all those paints and glues, to be honest, we've always had problems finding in the UK. Merrick's got them on his site. Okay, so I'm not going to go right the way through it, and as I said, I will say again, this isn't a paid advert. I'm not being paid to do this. I paid for all of this as well. I'm purely going on, obviously, Merrick, great customer service. He's been sorting this out for a while. Obviously, I've been hinting it a while, but I'm happy to say it is now live. So if you do want to see how good MRP paints are, but just generally his site in general, then please go and have a look, and you can have a definite feel through it. But again, hands up, this is nothing to do with me. I'm not any way involved in this particular company at all. It's just that obviously it's great service, he's a friend of the site and everything else like that, and I know he'll be able to sort you guys out as well. So there we go, that is HM Hobbies, one word, .co.uk. I'll put a little link up down below here as well, so if you want to go and check them out, have a look over them this weekend. It's a new site, great service, and as I say, a great product. At the end of the day, everything that's on there is all stuff I use. Weird as that is. Okay, so there we go. Right, this morning, what am I going to do? To be honest, I'm going to have a mass sort out. I'm going to be going around the site and everything else like that, making a few little subtle changes. So basically, I'm going to start working today on the main site. I wanted to sort out a few things on that. I'll explain to you what I've done and all things like that. I'm also going to have probably a look at the new Pledge floor care. I'm going to do a few little dipping tests, a few little overspray tests with you, and things like that, just to show how good it is. Now, I know a lot of you said about doing an on test and putting it up against everything else. Really, everything has its own merits these days. It's all very well having it. It is what it is, and I'm going to explain all about it a little bit later. I wouldn't use it for top coating, but certainly I will be using it for day-to-day usage, shall we say. Things like doing canopies, no problem, things like that. And I'll show you what I think it replaces, but definitely it's one of these things, it has its place in the hobby, but so does other materials as well. So I'm not saying this is the new latest and greatest thing, because clearly it's not, but definitely it works really well in certain scenarios, which we'll look at a little bit later. So there we go, that's it from me. I've now got to redo my entire paint rack to try and fit all this in. Okay, so there is the colours we've got. So what I've done down there, I've got a mixture of pretty much everything that I had in the guns range has now been replaced by the MRP, because let's face it, they're basically the same thing, okay? So because obviously I know what you're going to say now, okay, guns, it's the colour ones up here which are hobby colour, but I thin these with a lacquer. So that's the whole point. So really, there's not a lot of point in that. So what we're going to do, we're going to take all of these off, and I'm probably going to move, I don't know which way of doing this. I'm probably going to move everything up, and we're going to put the MRP probably, or hopefully, roughly where we've got the Tamiya and that. So everything's just going to jump up a level. Probably going to put the metallics all on the top. So what we need to do now is get these up to there, and then we can get on with some filming.
faces, prolong the embraces. We were always...
Okay, so close, not quite a cigar, but we're pretty close down in there. So for you guys who don't see the other half of my paint rack, because obviously it's on camera, that's it. So there we go, that is my MRP paints. Now, I know a lot of you are going to ask about what colours I've gone for and everything else. As I said, what I've tended to do is I've replaced my Vallejo in certain colours, which I don't know what are yet. I'm going to have to go through them. But basically, I've replaced my guns colours because, as I said, by the time I add self-leveling thinners to guns, this is what MRP really is. So I can't see the point of having duplicates of both. So that's what I've actually done. I've gone round and done it. So as you can see, down this end, you've got a lot of Russian colours. So we've got stuff down there, but also we've got some quite interesting colours. Like here, we've got the Raptor colours and the Modern Eagle colours. So that's done as well. We've got your usual, you know, ghost greys and various things like that down there. We've got the Southeast Asia greens. Okay, that's these ones down in here. Then obviously we've got a lot of navy colours. Then we've got the RAF type World War II colours. So we've got, you know, usual your browns and your greens for the early World War II camo. And then moving over to the greys. Okay, so you've got like the dark sea grey, the normal sort of sea grey, medium sea greys. We've got an interior green for RAF as well. Saw that one, it's quite interesting. That continues down over there with a lot of the stuff. We've got a pink primer as well, saw that nice little colour. We've got US interior green as well, so we've got both of those covered. And then all of this lot right the way down to here is all Russian colours. So what we've got down there is a lot of your normal sort of, you know, SU-25s, 22 colours, your MiG-29 colours in the greens and the browns, and MiG-23s, MiG-27s, that type of thing. We've got down there, we've got Hilo, so that's that sort of, you know, Black Hawk colour, if you know what I mean, an Apache colour, so that looks like quite a nice one. Desert RAF pink, which I don't know, looks really odd in that bottle there, but I'm probably, I don't know, actually we'll have to test that I think on something. And then down here again we've got more of the Russian colours. So we got down here a lot of the colours for the SU-34, which I want to do as well when it gets released. So I've second guessed those colours, and these ones down here you've seen already because that's a lot of the Russian stuff we've been doing anyway when we were doing the flanker and the bits like that. So really that completes my run out. So hopefully these colours are going to work really well. I can see myself switching over, but fear not, paint people, acrylic fans, I've still kept the Vallejos and the Tamiya because that's what I want to do. And to be honest, this little box here, I'm not going to bin it, I'm not going to give it away. I know a lot of you have asked to buy it and all the rest of it when I first mentioned it, but I'm going to keep it because it will become a backup. And as for me, as you know, it is that thing, having a backup is pretty important, because if it does go slightly wrong, bang, 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 you know, then it obviously, you know, the world sort of falls apart with this. So hopefully what will happen is I've got those well covered. Any problems I can switch to these, and we know these mix beautifully with MRP. So if you ever need to mix Tamiya paint or guns paint especially, works really well with MRP. No problems with those two as a mix. So I'm definitely keeping those colours. They're going to be by backup. The only thing is I need a way of keeping tabs on everything I've got, so I might have to do a spreadsheet for all of this. But generally I have bitten the bullet, I have moved over to them. It's got nothing to do with HM Hobbies, as I said. I know what a lot of people are going to think, I'm involved with it and all the rest of it, and I do some consultancy work, as I said, for a said company, but it's not these guys, okay? It's nothing to do with them. I just, you know, hopefully steered sort of Merrick in the right direction with a few ideas and things like that. But basically it's all his own hard work. And everything else, and I wish him very successful, him and his partner, with their new business venture doing this one. So there we go. But there we go, that is in there. So coffee, and then I think we're going to crack on. Okay, so I've done a short, I think it's around about 20 minutes, little thing about the actual Pledge floor care. Love it, it's fantastic, works really well. And with you guys, I haven't even looked at this since we finished filming it. So under here we have the canopy, which is now, as you can see, or as I'll show you, we can pick this up, it's totally dry, no problem at all, and then hopefully you can see just what the difference is. Okay, this isn't just a lighting thing or anything else like that. You can clearly see, or hopefully you can clearly see, the difference that it actually dipping gives you. It's not like just this thing of saying, oh yeah, okay, I can't see much difference. Honestly guys, it's a world of difference. Hopefully you can see the difference between there, and this stuff is as good, honestly a little bit better than this. Okay, it works fantastic. But as I say, don't write off the old Goozy stuff, that's great on metallics, whereas this stuff, I've tested it, isn't quite as good on metallics. But there we go, a quick, easy, definite thing, get to lock in, there we go, of doing those, so no problem with that at all. So I've been going around the actual main site, changing a few things, took a few things away. I took away all the old news videos because let's face it, they were from 2011 to 2013, so a few years ago now. So I've removed those. You can still watch them if you want to. It's archived. Just go to the YouTube page and you can see all of those down there as well. What I'm going to do is I'm creating some new areas. I'm refining some new areas, and you're going to have nice little boxes where you can get in and actually get directly to. So down the side, obviously you've got ones for washes. Where you see at the moment, you've got like video builds. We're going to update those, going to make those a little bit more punchy, a little bit nicer. So those will take you off to the correct area. So like things like reviews as well. So the reviews, we're going to have like model kits reviews, book reviews, tool reviews. They're all each have their own individual area. So I'm generally just spending this sort of today doing the reviews, a bit of editing, things like that, but really sorting out the main site, just trying to keep it clean and flowing really nicely, because that's the thing. It's far too easy to get lost in amongst it all. So hopefully this way it'll make things a little bit easier to find. Don't forget though, the search area, because I've done a little bit of testing, the search works really, really well. If you're not sure about something, just type it into the main search engine on the site. It tends to come up with pretty much anything, because I do keyword everything as it goes up there, so it doesn't take too long to find it. Same with the forum as well. The forum, I know it's massive because we got hundreds of thousands of posts in there, so it tends to get a little bit buried some stuff. But again, hopefully I'm going to have a word with the guys. We're going to try and make it cleaner, stream easier, flow easier, just so when you're scrolling through you can get to what you need to find straight away. But also don't forget, you can do your bit as well. Don't dump post, as I call it, because that is where people don't know what to do, so they just put it in general chat. Even though it's talking about painting or airbrushing or weathering or kits or whatever it is, there is a section in the actual site for it, okay? So just make sure when you are posting, try and correct it, put it in the correct place. It will save, Steve and Hans having to continuously go around retitling, re-editing and moving people's posts to make sure they go in the correct area, and that's what makes it clean. Otherwise, we might as well just have one called general and everyone just chucks it all in there. We won't find anything. So it is important you do your bit as well as members, and just try and think about, okay, what we're talking about here. You're talking about airbrushing, put it in the airbrushing section. Okay, if you're talking about obviously weathering, put it in the weathering section. If you're talking about construction, into construction area. If you're talking reference photos, remember we got reference and research as a section there for it. So just try and help us to help you be able to find everything really easy by posting it in the correct place to start with. So there we go, that's about it from me. Join me later on where we're going to have a look around at your great work in the forum as well, and the final tonight's show. Okay, so you can see, quite a busy day today, sorting out the paint rack, which looks absolutely fantastic now. Got all those paints in, and boy am I glad I have done. I know Steve is putting a very large order with them as well, and a few of the other team guys are getting these paints. They are really, really good. But as I said, don't be too swayed that that's it. We're never going to use acrylics again. Obviously I will. It's just, it's another tool in your armory. And as modelers, sometimes, as we know, some colors work better doing other jobs and various things like that. So from my point of view, I've actually got the Japanese one coming up, which I'm going to be doing next week. I've got all the colours and guns for that are actually colour matched and correct, and I don't think they are available yet with MRP. So in some ways, never get rid of your old stuff. Always keep it because you're going to need it. Okay, so the other thing up today is this. So we're talking about clear. Going through the ins and outs of it again. And yes, I know, here we go again, and it's clear and blah, blah, blah. Hopefully, this is a little bit more of a concise look at it. It's a 20-minute video, and basically we talk about how good clear is, why we use it, when we use it, why we used to use it, why we stopped using it, and everything else like that. But it's definitely back now, and it is back with a bang. And if you have a look down here, this little bit of video I shot literally just before I started pressing record on this video, you can see why we do it. That's a perfect example of why we do it there. As you can see, that rear canopy is so much clearer than the front canopy in every way. So really, from that point of view, it just shows the power of a quick dip and the difference it can actually make to your model. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do here. It's used for dipping. This stuff works extremely well, better than anything else I've actually used. To me, my dipping is always going to be like this now. It's clean, it's crisp, you can mask over it. I've had no peeling, no nothing, or anything else like that. It's worked an absolute treat in it. But everything I've thrown at this, it's worked extremely well, apart from going over a metallic finish. If you're going to be going over the sort of natural metal finishes, said alclads, and obviously AK metals and various things like that, I'd probably go with the AK stuff still, because the Goozy stuff, I don't know, it has this weird phenomenon where it doesn't tend to affect what's going on below, which I absolutely love with it. Where this stuff, when I tested it with it, I don't know, you just lose that luster, that metal look to it. It just tends to die down a little bit, and unfortunately, you know, all that work you put in with metals, you could lose. The Goozy stuff, love it, no problem at all. Seemed to overcoat and didn't really change anything that much at all. So from that point of view, really, really good. But anyway, full review is up on that at the moment. You can go off and have a look at that one. And to spoil you today, we spoke about it yesterday, we've got the ISO containers. So we've got the 40-foot one down here we have to look at, but there's the 20-foot one up there. Something a little bit different. And a load of you said to me, do it, when I said about doing that giant Chinook with all the bits hanging underneath it. So to make it look like it's lifting up the container. I don't know, maybe next year I'll think about it. We'll have to see how we go with that one. But so it'd be a huge project to build a Chinook in flight, motorised. It would have to have lights as well, probably. And then obviously to put a container underneath it. That's a huge project. Maybe. I never say never. You know me, I get this in my head and all of a sudden I'll go with it. But you know, by the time I get to it, somebody would have done it now. They would have thought, that's a good idea. And they will knock one up in no time at all. Anyway. The next couple of parts, as I said, I'll be up with you next week on the actual tank. Thank you for all your kind feedbacks on that. I love this TACM kit. A load of you spoke to me and they've asked, is it really that good? Honestly, if you're not into armour, have a look at that kit. I can't speak for all TACM kits, but the Chieftains, they're all going to go together the same. Because let's face it, I've got them all down there. I've got the Mark II, the Mark V, and the Mark 11 as well. And I imagine they're all going to go together just as well. It really has been a fantastic job on that one. So as I say, you can see, we're going to be following up that one. Another 2 parts for that will probably be up on Monday, and then the last part of it will be up with you, which talks about pigment scrub and all the bits we did to it will be up on Wednesday, which will then complete, which then completely frees me up to actually move on and have a go with the Gundam stuff. And as I say, we've got that Hasegawa Mitsubishi F1 148 scale. We want to do that one as well, so that's going to be a great job. Anyway, over to the forum now for a reveal about the group builds and things. Okay then guys, so here we have the actual final reveal for the group build official planner for 2017. So starting up with, we've actually going to be kicking off the first of the new year with the group build, which is basically Flory. I can't pronounce it, I'm not German, but basically I must be German, okay? So this means open fire, fire at will, whichever way you want to do it and all the rest of it. It's basically everything about Germany. After the success of the Japanese one, we really thought we'd bring out something very, very similar. So we thought we'd start with Germany's because we've got some great things. So basically any scale, any era, out of the box, you can go full aftermarket, whichever way you want to do. Anything to do with German culture. So in the same way we've done the Japanese one, the big Japanese one, exactly the same. So it can be TV shows, German cars, civilian cars, bikes. What else we got? So we're talking Volkswagen, BMW, Audi, Porsche, Opel, usual things. Any type of shipping. So obviously we're thinking military as well. You know, Graf Spee, the Bismarck, U-boats, E-boats, trains, trams, buses, trucks, anything you like as long as it's in German. And then obviously we've got figures, tanks. Let's face it, any type of like tigers, leopards, you know, anything like that. Aircraft. So anything from ME-109s, Fokker Wolves, Eindeckers, the lot. Airliners. So we're talking what, junkers, everything else like that. Anything Luftwaffe, you know, so we've got experimental stuff down there. You name it, it can be in it. As long as it's in German markings and everything else like that, it will count. Okay, it's as simple as that. So that should be a fantastic. So basically, if you're wondering, just think of it like the Japanese one, but this one is going to be in German. So any time period, anything whatsoever, it counts. Okay, that's going to be our first one for next year. So if you've got anything German in your stash, it basically counts. Okay, so you can get in with that one. And then what we've actually got with that one, the first air sig is going to be warts and all. Okay, so this is basically subsonic ground attack aircraft. Okay, so it can be fixed wing or rotary wing for this one. Okay, so anything that's in the real world, i.e. what are we talking about here? Anything manufactured from 1970s onwards that's still in operation. So it can be subsonic capable aircraft, officially got to be designated as a ground attack aircraft or helicopter. So usual thing, it's going to be any scale, out of the box, aftermarkets, whichever you want to do, dioramas as well. model. So examples are L39, A10, Su-25, Jaguar, Harrier, the Gazelle helicopter, the Hind helicopter, Cobras, Sea Cobras, Little Bird, MH6s, Apaches, anything else like that counts, okay? So it's got to be a ground attack aircraft that's in current use today, okay? So that is basically how that one is going to work. The first armoured group build after that, let me just see. We've got the, where's the first armoured? Crashing, AFV, where's it, AFV1? Okay, so it's Meng the Merciless. Okay, as you can imagine, it's Meng, not Ming. So anything by Ming, okay, or Meng even, or Ming, because it is actually pronounced Ming, even though it's spelled Meng. Okay, so where are we? AFV1. So anything made by Meng, anything whatsoever. So anything they do out of the box, aftermarket, anything else. That's going to be a SIG, okay, and that SIG is going to run from the 1st of April to the 23rd of July. Okay, so that's going to be our first SIG of the year starting then. And then after that we're going to have, I'm just trying to do this in sort of date order a little bit. So we've got the second air SIG is going to be I Must Be Skewered, i.e. planes on poles. So anything that is an in-flight display. Okay, so the real one for that one is, let me just get this right. Okay, any era of plane from the dawn of flight until today, any country, any conflict, civil or military, but it must be in flight. Okay, i.e. it's on a pole. All right, usual thing, out of the box, aftermarkets, whichever you want to do. So basically what we're thinking is Gate Guardians, okay? So this is the thing. So it must have a pilot figure installed into it, and it must be in flight. So the gear can be extended or retracted or halfway, but it must be displayed in flight, i.e. it's on a pole. So you can use it from anything from fiberglass, acrylic rods, steel rods, brass, you name it, wood, anything, whatever you want to do. So you can make it as elaborate or as easy as you want to do. You can do cloud cover, you can put photos behind it, you can have display teams, anything else you like, you know, no problem with that at all. Okay, the second big group build of the year. Okay, so this is the big one. It's going to go from the 8th of July to the 24th of December, so it's the big one through to next year. This one is actually going to be, after the success of the Tamiya group build we did a couple of years ago, we're actually hitting back with this one, and we're coming in with, let's have a look, the Trumpy Hobby Boss kits one. Okay, so this one is basically anything that's manufactured by Trumpeter or Hobby Boss. It must be in their boxing. No reboxes, please. Okay, so literally anything from those counts. All right, so that's going to be that one. So that's a nice one. So you've got all your military vehicles, ships, you name it, anything, as long as it is either made by Trumpeter or Hobby Boss. So it's Trumpy Hobby Boss kit builds. Okay, so that's going to be our second big group build of the year, as I say, from July until December next year. Okay, the next AFV for the armour guys is going to be Mr. T. Okay, so this is anything designated as a T from Russian. So usual things, let me just make sure we're right down here. Any era, country, conflict, usual things like that. So we're thinking things like T14, T72, T55, T54, T34, T27, T26, T28. Okay, 35, 37, 38, 40, 50, 60, 70, 10, 62, 64, T80, T90, plus all the subvariants such as the T72B, T90S, and so on and so on and so on. So anyway, as long as it's got a T designation from Russian military, then it will count in that one. Okay, so loads of things on that one. The other SIG after that one will be, and sorry, that is going to run 29th of July until the 19th of November. So it's a 16-weeker on that one again, okay? After that one, it must be a triangle. So what we're thinking with this one is delta and canards and things like that. So, okay, it must be a triangle, any conflict, any type of plane, whatever you like. AK, delta, original aircraft, and it can have canards as well. So obviously the little winglets on the front, usual thing, out of the box, aftermarket dioramas, the full work. So we're thinking Vulcans, Concords, Vigans, Gripens, Typhoons, Raphaels, MiG-21, Drakens, F-106, Hustlers, Valkyrie, Gloucester Javelins, anything basically like that. Okay, so that'll be a really good one for you. And as I say, June until October on that one. We've got the Thanksgiving turkey shoot, which is going to run 23rd of November to the 26th of November. Yep, 4 hours. Okay, so you've got, basically a 4-day build, 4 24-hour builds, okay, in one mini one. So basically it's something you've got to build in 4 days flat, and it's going to run from the Saturday show right the way over until our Tuesday live show. That's why we've done it that way, okay? So you have to complete in that time. So basically anything you like, you can make it as complicated or as easy as you like, but anyway, this is it. You've got 4 days to complete it. That's all you're going to have on this one, all right? So literally, you're going to have to run through your actual build as well as get it built in 4 days, so it should be quite a little bit of fun. The other thing as well, we've got the exciting egg and novelty hunt. Not exactly an egg plane build, because we've allowed in this year the novelty type things from the other manufacturers, because let's face it, Meng do a load of these sort of super deformed kits and all the rest of it instead of the standard sort of egg plane and things like that, okay? So we're allowing a little bit more room in this one to get a lot more people entered into it, but it's going to be the usual egg one that's going to run through, and that's going to run from the 18th of March to the 16th of April, 4-week one on that one. It's just our little bit extra as we put down in there. All right, so that's our little fun one for the year. There's a couple of other things that are going to happen this year though, still to come. So you've still got Meet My Metal, which is carrying on. That's going to be until Christmas Eve, 24th of December. You've got my Star Wars job. You know me, I love my Star Wars. So Star Wars month is always going to be December month. So with the release of Rogue One, I'm going to be doing something Star Warsy that month. So that's going to run from the 1st of December to the 31st of December. It's just a special one to join me if you want, guys. And then we've got the first of the Thanksgiving turkey shoots this year, 24th of November to the 27th of November. And it's going to be the team are hopefully all going to have a go at this, so feel free to join in. And basically what we're going to have is live shows right the way through that time period, from Saturday through, because I'll be on with you on Monday and all day Tuesday as well. So if you want to join me, and the evenings and daytime, we can have a lot of fun with it. So there we go, guys, that is it. So there you go, some really exciting stuff coming up next year. As I say, we've got this group builds, we've got the SIGs. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And again, we've chosen stuff that everybody can get involved with. Everybody can find something to build in those. And then obviously, don't forget, everybody who takes part in the group builds get a completed entry into that one, gets a medal, usually a little something as well. And then with the SIGs and the group builds, obviously there'll be a full reveal video with your great work in it as well. So that's about it from me for this week. Busy week this week. Next week should be a little bit more relaxed, a little bit refined, and we can get some great building and making our way through. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling, take care. I'm going to leave you with your great work.
Calling you over, my head on your shoulder. Familiar faces prolong the embraces. We were always one for the breakaway, but we're nearing chances to wake the day.